It's sure hard to know who to believe these days. The internet is filled with promises, but not all of them are true. We're supposed to have truth in advertising, but natural ingredients can cover a whole host of sins. And lately, companies have been claiming transparency, but they still seem to be covering up a lot of misdeeds. Yep, it's sure hard, very difficult to know who's telling the truth. And then, what about yourself and your belief systems? What are you telling yourself? Are you hiding behind half-truths and blatant falsehoods out of fear or shame? Isn't it time you remembered all that you are? Welcome, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, here with you on Angel Heart Radio. And when we come back, I want you to understand the truth. If you're ready to discover the truth and put it to the test, then you want to stay with me because we're going to learn the truth that will set you free.
Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools for transformation, positivity, joy, and hope. They should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio, where we celebrate you. We celebrate your divine connection. We celebrate your magnificence. We celebrate you as a beautiful being here on planet Earth, sharing your love and your light. We are so blessed to have amazing hosts here on Angel Heart Radio. We fan your seeds of hope and we help you to plant more. AngelHeartRadio.com is our station, and AngelLight777.com is our big sister. All the links, the series, host information, how to visit us, and really how to receive the best from Angel Heart Radio, and a whole lot more besides. Thank you for choosing to be with us on Angel Heart Radio. We're so grateful to share with you. Powered by love, Angel Heart Radio is brought to you by AngelLight777.com.
These days, we sure do hear a lot about the truth, but it's often so hard to differentiate between the truth and the lie of either illusion or omission. And what we want to look at today is a basic truth, a benchmark truth that you can always depend on. Now, something really incredible happened to me that just brought this home for me in a new, more powerful way. Now, I'm going to share that story with you, and then we have a caller. So together, we're going to take a look at what's the truth and how we can know we're on the right path. Otherwise, we're just always going to feel like we're stumbling around from one hopeful situation to the next. You know, we go into courtrooms and we've all seen courtroom dramas on TV, and they have you place your hand on a Bible and say you're going to tell the whole truth. But how does anybody know what the truth is when there are so many variations? Well, when I was preparing for this, I was sitting in my chair where I write my blog because, I channel these messages from my guides, my angelic messengers, and from this blog that I channel that I post, which you can get to through my website, is the basis for these podcasts. And so I was sitting in my chair saying, they had given me the title, The Truth Shall Set You Free. And I was sitting in my chair and just really being lazy. I felt that I needed to understand the Bible passage that said, that quoted Jesus as saying, I am the truth, the way, and the light. I didn't remember it well enough. I'm not a great Bible scholar. And I just felt like they were pushing me to know what this was. Well, I didn't want to get up and go to my computer. I already had my little setup in my chair. I was all set to do this automatic writing that they give me to channel the blog posts. And I was just really having a whiny moment. I'm like, come on, angels, you know what it is. You can tell me. They're not getting any information. So the Bible was closer. I got up, it looked in my bookcase, which was sitting right next to me, and got the Bible, and I was just kind of moseying around. They gave me the information. Gee, it needs to go in John. I'm like, okay. I remember from when I was spending time in the Bible, John had a lot of conversations that were attributed directly to Jesus. So that made logical sense. And I'm puttering around. I'm kind of looking. I don't see anything. I'm saying, oh, it's a big chapter. I don't want to read this whole thing. What am I going to do? Okay. So, or not even a big chapter. It's many chapters. It's a big book. And I didn't want to put all that time and effort in. So, by this time, I had gotten to John 4. And I'm looking around, and I try again. I'm like, come on, angels. I got the Bible. I really need to know where in John this is. And there's this peaceful moment and a little tiny voice, not the voice that I hear when my guides who do the blog posts are speaking with me. A little tiny voice says, 14. And I look down and I say, 14? Do they mean for me to go to John 4:14, since that's where I already am? I look down, it's not there. I said, okay, let's go John 14. Now, I don't have the verse. I just have what I believe is the correct chapter. Well, I turn to John 14, and the first place that my eyes land when I am in John 14 is the verse where Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the light. Please understand that you are loved so much that something as stupid as where is this thing that I can Google located because I'm too lazy to get up out of my seat, that information is provided. You do not have to stumble around in the dark. You don't have to worry if you're getting it right. Just open to receive guidance and understand that if it comes from God, it will be loving. It will not contain judgment. If ever you receive a message that you believe is from your higher self, from Source, from the divine mind, and it says something like, you are so stupid, immediately cut off the connection. Disconnect. You are not connecting to Source. If you are speaking truly with the Creator, you will feel loved, uplifted, supported, guided, encouraged. There is no criticism that comes forth from that source. So when somebody comes at you with a belief system, or you are told something and it makes you feel off, trace that. Look at that. Don't immediately assume that because it comes from a person of authority that it's the truth. They can be confused too. Run it through your own beingness. Connect with your highest version of yourself. And ask yourself, does this feel loving? It's okay if it doesn't. That person can be confused or holding on to a belief that is teaching them something. You don't need to correct them. You just get you in the place where you're in divine alignment and you're walking in the truth of unconditional love, and other people will be drawn to your light and begin asking you when they are ready. If they're not ready, it's not your fault and it's not your responsibility. Be there for those who are ready. Be there for yourself, and know If it's coming from God, there will not be fear in that statement. There will only be love. You will feel supported, honored, loved. When that little voice said 14 and I flipped to John 14 and immediately saw that passage, I began to weep because it was such proof that I was loved so much. It's something as stupid as, where can I find this passage? Because I don't feel like getting out of my seat, was of concern to the divine. So it is absolutely paramount that we allow ourselves to receive that love. You are fabulous, just as you are. You are loved, just as you are. And what we want to do today is learn how you can come to believe that. So, sure, lies can dress themselves up as truth, but really, they're a way to keep you playing small. When a lie comes at you, take a look at it and begin dissecting it. Does it have fear within it somewhere? Does it make me afraid of a person, an event, or a situation? As if you step into fear, oh, if I don't do this, they're going to fill in the blank. Not like me, not invite me again, not include me, whatever it may be. That is not a loving feeling. That is a fear-based feeling. And you are now imprisoned with that situation or that person or that feeling. You don't feel free. You're not joyous. You're not excited about what's available. You're scared. You've closed down. You've withdrawn. So if a false belief system is operating, it may cause you to believe that something has power over you that you cannot control. Think back over your life. Whenever you became afraid of something, did you see yourself as powerful? Did you see yourself having answers? No. You thought you were small and that thing was big. Because when we're playing patty cake with fear, it tempts you to take defensive action, to be in a defensive position. You forget that you're incredible, loved, protected, valuable, worthy, safe. Instead, what can I do to prevent this thing that I'm afraid of from happening? When you're in a defensive position, it doesn't feel empowering. It's a back against the wall, last-ditch effort. You're willing to do anything to stop this thing you're afraid of from happening because you are worried that it's going to cause you an unpleasant sensation. So what we want to do instead is take a proactive stand. That's very different. You can still be doing things that are designed to not interact with something that you don't like. But if you're in a fear place, if you're coming from fear, it's going to be defensive, reactionary. If you're coming from, no, I know what I want and this isn't it, I'm going to go after that which I do want, you're in a proactive position. And I want you to be proactive. So let's take a look at 3 examples of behavior and figure out Which one of those is proactive? Now, we had a caller, and that call seems to have dropped, which sometimes these things happen. So, if you are in a situation where you feel like you don't know whom to trust or what feels like the truth, that number is 347 202 0232. If you're outside of the U.S., you have to add 1. 347 202 0232. Now, back to our examples. We've got 3 examples of behavior. We're looking for the one that is proactive, that will put you in the optimal situation so that you're the one choosing what you receive instead of getting it by default. When you get things by default, it can make you feel so terribly frightened. So, let's use the example of the common cold. We all know that there's a possibility that you're going to be exposed to the germs that make up the common cold. Let's say that we choose as our way not to get a cold is we're going to take vitamins. But we are really, really afraid of a cold. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter why you're really uncomfortable with this thing happening, really afraid of it. Just let it go. The fact is that you are. So you're coming at taking vitamins from a defensive position. Well, most likely, you're going to start taking them by the handful. Oh, I got to take more. It's not enough. It's not enough. When we're in a position where we feel afraid, nothing that we do really feels like it's good enough or that it will solve the problem. So you megadose on vitamins. Okay. What's wrong with that? Well, let's look at that. Truthfully, the body can only process so much. And so once you have reached the body's ability to assimilate the vitamins, you're just wasting money. You are taking the vitamins, but they can no longer do any more good than they've already done. So your fear-based anxiety, your fear-based action caused you to waste your time, waste your money, and really give your body extra work that it probably didn't want to do. All right. Now let's compare that to taking vitamins proactively. You say, you know what? I have been exposed to quite a few people that have had colds, and I'm really not in the mood to get a cold. Why don't I do something about it? Wow. Just saying, why don't I do something about it, makes you empowered. You're going to feel absolutely wonderful that you are doing something that will give you the solution that you desire. So you begin from that place of empowerment, which is a wonderful place to begin anything. Now you begin taking vitamins. But you're aware of the fact that taking more than your body can use is not going to help you. So you take just the right amount. And as a result, you effectively boost your immune system. Because in addition to the vitamins, because you're feeling proactive, you're feeding yourself good food, you're getting enough sleep, you're getting exercise, you're drinking plenty of water. You are loving yourself in every way possible. And because you chose not to megadose beyond what was necessary on vitamins, you also saved money, and that adds to our feeling of well-being. So when we approach something from the proactive or empowered way, it always is going to make us feel so much better. Now, there's one other way that we can act, and that is just plain foolish. So let's be the foolish person for a moment. We saw the defensive person, we saw the proactive person. Let's take a look at the foolish person, because we all are each of these people at different times. Please, without judgment, just love yourself for any of the times that you have been any of the beings that really didn't serve your highest good. Instead of judging yourself, think about all that you learned, how incredibly fabulous you are for continuing to move your life forward. So, let's say we're feeling kind of foolish. Well, we may go in a group of people who are all suffering from really nasty head colds, and we may say to ourselves, I'm invincible. I don't need to be proactive. Well, perhaps you do have a really great immune system. Good for you. However, being proactive means feeling empowered. Well, you may feel sort of pseudo-empowered if you are telling yourself, I'm invincible. But if you're not honoring your body, at some point, you're telling yourself a lie. Sure, when we are younger or when we are in really great health, we can get away without honoring our body every minute of the day. At some point, it's pretty likely that that body is going to say, you've abused me for long enough, and parts of you are going to wear out. It's very similar to a car. Let's say that you choose to drive your car and never change the oil, or even put new oil in when it gets low, or add any of the fluids. Well, that car will continue driving for a certain period of time, and you can tell yourself, my car can run on nothing. But at some point, the car is going to be unable to function. At some point, you are likely to be unable to function because our bodies were not designed to be abused. So when we operate in truth, we operate from the most loving place possible. And the fool will not have a true sense of what well-being really is. They have a I hope so kind of fantasy sense. We want to make sure that we are standing on bedrock. Not I hope so, I know so. If you are twisting things around, trying to make it come out right, you need to look at what's motivating you to do that. What fear is driving you to believe that you're not enough, that you deserve less? You're a child of God. You are loved. You deserve more. So, one of the ways you can be standing in truth instead of wishful or deceitful thinking is how it makes you feel. If we are really being honest with ourselves, when we are telling ourselves something, an I hope so statement about a person, a situation, or a belief, it's not going to really feel good on all levels. We can try to push that warning sign away. But it's better just to confront it and say, what are you trying to show me? What do I need to know about this situation, this person, this belief system, so that I can be proactive, I can be empowered and handle this in a way that will be for the highest good of all. So, truth, which is comprised of unconditional love, which is only that which comes from the Creator, will always feel good. It will be solid and supportive. You don't have to be looking over your shoulder hoping that some big tidal wave is coming to sweep you off your feet if you're really dealing with truth. And from making a whole heck of a lot of mistakes in my life and trying to make them better with wishful thinking, I got to tell you, there is so much less pain involved when you stop yourself and say, you know what? I don't think this is going to go where I want it to go. It sounded like a great idea. It felt wonderful, but it doesn't feel true anymore. Or, I believe I've been in this situation or this relationship, this job, this whatever, for as long as I need to be. Perhaps it's time for me to look at what is for the highest good of all concerned. And it may not be staying in this situation. Doesn't make you a failure. It makes you someone who is willing to face situations with unconditional love. Truth that is in line with the divine mind must have the following characteristics. It must be grounded in and overflowing with unconditional love. No contradictions or judgments. If it's one way on Monday and another way on Tuesday, something's wrong there. You need to look a little more closely. And if you are in a line with the divine, you are going to feel powerful, capable, larger than life. When you are stepping into something new, something that you may not have done before, you may feel a little wobbly. It may feel a little scary, but you will also feel a sense of empowerment. Wow, I'm going to be able to do this? Instead of, gosh, I hope nobody notices. I hope nobody finds out. Those are not situations where you're honoring yourself or the other people that may be involved. Fear will not be supported in the presence of divine truth. You don't have to accept the truth, but it is always going to be available. No one is going to stop you, knock you over, and push you down and say, what are you doing? You are free to make every mistake you want to make. However, if you're tired of making mistakes, you have a truth meter. And in a little while, we're going to have a few situations, if there's time, where we actually use this truth meter. But because we don't have that much time today, if you are in a situation where you feel like it's always difficult for you to know when you can trust the information that you're receiving, I have a fabulous class on how to stop procrastination. And in that class, I help you establish a truth meter that you can count on always. Because we've got to clear out all of the confusion that could be causing you a problem. So you may say, oh, but I don't have a problem with procrastination. If you are telling yourself things that are not true, then you are probably also putting off things that you need to do because you know that they're not going to go the way you want them to go. Or you feel, because procrastination is fear-based, you feel that you're not up to the task. You're not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, old enough, young enough, whatever. Fear has climbed in there somewhere. So if you need help establishing a truth meter and really understanding what's true and what's wishful thinking, go to my website, MarciaMartinTheHeartHealer.com. Marcia spelled Marcia, and under classes, it's How to Stop Procrastination. Powerful class, a lot of great tools. One of them is the truth meter. So, let's go back to that example of a cold and measure it against the divine truth. Because if we don't really know how to use our divine connection, it's not going to help us a whole lot. So, divine mind has no agenda of pain. They are not out to get you. They don't hate you. They're not trying to trip you up. They're not trying to make it more difficult. You are the creator of your life through the thoughts that you're thinking and the emotions that you are attaching to those thoughts. If you are attaching fear, you are not in the place or in the environment of divine mind. So, going back to the example, since we can experience about confusion, about what is truthful and what's a story that we're telling ourselves, it's really important to remember that truth is attached to God. So it has to pass the litmus test of, does this feel like unconditional love? Are there contradictions? And do I feel powerful? So going back to our example of the common cold, I'm going to take vitamins defensively. I am so scared that I am going to become sick that I am shoving handfuls of vitamins in my mouth every time I think about it. Is there unconditional love in that action? No. The body can't handle it. It's actually putting stress on the body. It is not a loving thing to do. Is it filled with contradictions in that statement? Well, vitamins are something that we do when we want to support and love the body. The fact that we're pouring handfuls of them into our body and asking the body to do more work than it wants to is not loving. So, yes, we're in a contradiction. And do you feel powerful taking those vitamins, or do you feel like, oh, God, I'm so scared. I've got to do anything I can. I hope this works. I don't feel powerful. I feel like perhaps the vitamin has power, but I don't. So it does not pass that test of truth. So now we're going to take vitamins proactively and same measure. We're saying, okay, I'm going to take just what I need in order to make sure that my body's immune system is working really well. Does that feel loving? Yes, you are supporting your body with just what it needs, nothing more and nothing less. I feel really empowered because I know that I've made a really good decision to support my immune system. And I have confidence in my body that it has a powerful immune system. Are there any contradictions in that statement? Do you feel fear or confusion or lack in any of that? I don't hear it. So, number 2, check. Do you feel powerful? Well, yes, you're in a proactive position. You're saying to yourself, I know that I can provide my body with what it needs. I feel really good about my choices. So in that particular case, taking vitamins proactively, gave us that sense of well-being without any contradiction. We felt loved and powerful. So let's go back now and look when we're acting foolishly. Well, we may say to ourselves, I'm invincible. Well, since we are placing ourselves in a position of danger or potential harm, that's not very loving. That's not being self-loving, and that's not in line with divine mind. Well, we say to ourselves even further, I don't need to be proactive. Well, why would you not want to be? Isn't that a contradiction? Don't you love yourself so much that you want to do those things which are for your highest good? And if you have been in a place where people are already suffering from colds, it makes sense, since it's an airborne illness, that you could have been exposed to the germ. So it's kind of a contradiction to say I'm invincible when you're not willing to do any proactive effort to make your body feel or be more supported. And you're certainly not feeling powerful. You're feeling a false sense of bravado. So in this particular case, in that foolish behavior, you've probably bought into an illusion. Illusions are dream-like experiences that we create for the purpose of growth, not because we dislike ourselves, but because sometimes we learn best when things are not going well. So we may create an illusion that contains fear and doubt, panic and anxiety. However, the thing about illusions is they need your attention to survive. If you are not paying attention to this thing that you fear, it's going to go away. It's going to wither and die. That doesn't happen when it's the truth, because the truth is unchanging and it exists whether you are paying attention to it or not. So let's take an example for that. Let's say, let's use the world as round, or humans breathe oxygen, or the sky appears to be blue when it's a sunny day. And let's go even further. Gravity is keeping us from floating away into space. These are things that most of us agree are true. We don't really pay attention to any of these things. I don't go out on a sunny day and say, isn't it amazing that the sky is blue today? I just assume it's going to be blue, and you know what? When I go out, it is. I don't think about gravity holding me in the chair while I'm talking with you. It just does what it's supposed to do. I don't need photos from outer space to remind me that the world is round. I'm okay with that. It didn't change while I wasn't looking. And even though I don't think about breathing every minute of the day, I know that I need oxygen. These things don't change if I look at them, and they don't change if I look away. However, if I'm attached to a fear, it's going to need my constant attention. I have to keep fanning the flames with drama, confusion, distortion, all the negative end of the spectrum, if fear is going to be allowed to exist. It needs constant feeding. Otherwise, we'll see it for what it is, which is nothing. So, let me share an example of a belief that is really a fear. let's assume that I have this belief that if I'm not out of the house by 8 a.m. every morning, a disaster is going to happen. Now, perhaps my fear has some grounding to it. Perhaps I am a very punctual person and I am usually out of my house by 8 o'clock. But one day I, for whatever reason, didn't get out of my house until 8:15 and I got in a car accident that day. Well, now I have told myself that I will get in a car accident or something else bad will happen to me unless I leave my house every day before 8 o'clock. Fear is running that show. Fear is keeping me small, scared, afraid to, rigid, afraid to be out of my house at 8:01. I am in prison to that belief system. Fear makes me believe I've got no power. Fear is a bully. It needs attention, and it will knock you over to get it. Fear makes you believe that you have no value, that you might have limited intelligence, and absolutely nothing to offer the world. That's what fear says. Well, what would truth say about that? Let's say I'm afraid to leave the house after 8 o'clock. Well, truth would say, you did have an accident when you left the house at 8:15, but it has not happened since, and the likelihood is greater that it won't happen again, that it actually will happen. So you can let go of your rigid adherence to this schedule. Instead of holding on to a schedule, believing it's keeping you safe, you need to look at your value. You need to understand you're intelligent, safe, and loved. You are worthy. Fear will tell me, you better get out of the house by 8 o'clock or something bad's going to happen. Truth says to me, you are an intelligent and valuable person. You are loved and able to make extremely good decisions. You may leave the house whenever you're ready, and you will get where you're going safely. Perhaps I will have an accident. If I do, I do. I'll allow it to be for my highest good and look at what that's teaching me. But I won't live in fear of that happening, because then I am chained to a routine, to rigidity, and playing small. As long as we're grounded in love, seeking the highest good for all, and actively searching for that which feels good, we're truth seekers. Fear-filled lies are a way to control ourselves or other people. They will have to be justified. If I tell myself, oh my gosh, I have to leave the house by 8 o'clock or something terrible is going to happen, I will have to constantly justify that belief system. It's not a normal belief system. It's not something that will stay part of my energetic field without me feeding it. And I have to pretend that I'm something that I'm not. I would have to pretend that I am small and weak and incapable of making a good decision in order to keep that fear alive, that lie alive. Instead of walking in fear, walk in love and use the truth meter that every single one of you came into this life with. Nobody came without the tools necessary for a successful life journey. Now, here's where I hear people say to me, oh, but what about those children that were born into poverty or uh, got cancer or were in homes where they received abuse? We all choose situations before we enter the physical body that will serve the journey that we have chosen to take in this life. We make deliberate choices to encounter situations that will cause us to grow. When we know more, we can do more and become even freer. So please don't go back to yesterday and say, oh my gosh, I was such a fool. What an idiot. Nope. Wow. Look how well I did with the information that was available to me. It's amazing that I was able to stay a loving, kind person, even though it appeared that I was being destroyed. I'm really proud of myself. I work with clients who have been victims of abuse. The first thing I tell them is, you're amazing. You are an incredible being. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Now let's work on empowering you so something like that can never happen to you again. Love yourself so much that you can access the heart space where you will know when something is for your highest good. And now we have a caller, 914. Hi there. How can we help you today? Go ahead. Can't hear you. 914.
Hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you, and how can I help you with a situation that you feel uncomfortable because you can't figure out what's true?
Yes. I'm trying to, there's several facets to a work issue that I'm trying to navigate with this new team that I'm working with.
Excellent. Now, are you comfortable sharing your name with me, or would you rather?
Oh, sure, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I didn't say. Catherine.
Catherine?
Yes.
Okay, great. So tell us a little bit about the work situation, and then let's use those conditions to find out what's your best course of action. Remember, it has to feel unconditional love, no contradictions, and you have to feel empowered.
Okay. Well, I've been given this new work situation where I'm kind of ahead, but I'm still answering to people. And I would like the project to start a little later than they're projecting, just so we're better prepared. Not by much, like maybe 2 weeks, the latest 3 to a month. So that's one part of it. And the other part of it is I would really like if they, I'm sorry, there's 2 more parts. If they give me credit for the work I've done already. And also, lastly, I would like Jake to come on board to this project. So in any manner you could help me with this situation, I'd be really grateful.
Absolutely. Now, this is a beautiful example of where one of the parties may be feeling a fear-based energy, And when we step into fear, we can start saying things to ourselves like, well, if I give Catherine credit or allow Jake to come on the team, they may take over. They may be more powerful than I am. They may forget that I'm in charge or I'm the supervisor. You see how fear can start worming its way in there if you're not fully grounded. So let's look at a way that you can present what you're asking and allow it to be for the highest good of all concerned. Because if it's not for the highest good of everyone, it doesn't work out. When they first started sharing me this concept of just forget what's not working, Marcia, just let go of it, I was so frightened that I had lived all my life scared. What's going to happen next? I got to look at what I did wrong so I don't do it again. It was so difficult for me to break that habit because I had chained myself so firmly to fear that it felt like I could barely breathe. But they kept after me. And I said, okay, I got to do this. They told me I got to do this. I made a pact with myself that if it felt like it was from my alignment with the divine, then I was gonna do it. So I'm gonna do it. I mean, shaking. So the person that has assigned you this contract may be feeling that they will lose their authority in some way. So what I would like you to do when you bring forth these suggestions, which seem really, really reasonable, you may want to couch it and say, I want to make sure that I'm able to do the most incredible job for you possible because I really admire you. I really have found you to be an incredible leader and wonderful inspiration. Does that feel so far good to you?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not to take away from her. Yes, I'm trying to add. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So she needs to know, you've really helped me so much. I really appreciate everything you've done and the support that you've given me. And I want to make sure that I really make our division shine with this new project. With that in mind, I think I need an extra 2 weeks to prepare. If I were to start at the suggested start date, I would really be flying by the seat of my pants. And if I had some extra time, I could research and really get the team up to speed. So right out of the box, we would be sharing with others incredible information. There wouldn't be a lot of do-overs necessary because we were really prepared for this. And I think it really would be incredibly valuable if we added this extra team member. He brings X, Y, and Z to the table. And I really admire the fact that you tend to be, whatever that person's name is, highly organized and really good at seeing the bigger picture. And I feel that if we bring in this other person, it will really flesh out the team and you'll really be getting that big picture perspective and all the details at the same time. So it has a much higher likelihood of working right out of the box. Mm-hmm. And if you don't mind, person who gave you this, I would really feel great if I would be given a credit for this. I'm really going to put my heart and soul in it, and I would really appreciate it if you would be okay acknowledging my part. I want to make sure that you're acknowledged as team leader, but I'd like myself and my team to all receive credit for working on this project. So do you see how we took away the fear of the other person that you were not seeing them as a leader, or that you were believing that you were somehow bigger than they were, better than they were. But at the same time, you were not allowing yourself to play small. You're saying, I know who I am. I know what my strengths are. I know what I need in order to deliver this in a way that will really have positive impact. So you are acknowledging, I'm valuable, worthy, and powerful. And if you trust me, team other person, you will get something you can be really proud of. However, I also recognize my weaknesses, so I want to bring in this other person who can do what I can't.
Right.
We see you as a really valuable source, and so we want to honor you by bringing you our best work. Now, if somebody came to me with that, said, hey, wow, thank you so much. This is so incredible. I want to make sure it goes forward 9,000% and we rock it right out of the box. In order to do that, I'm going to need these things. I do not feel fear. I feel respected and honored, and I feel really proud of myself for choosing Catherine to be my team leader.
Aww. Oh, I love it.
Now, just feeling your energy, I know you are an incredibly heart-centered person, and the last thing you want to do is put this team, I don't want their name, this team leader in an awkward position. That would feel really bad to you. But at the same time, you're smart enough to know what they have proposed is going to backfire, and you're going to be taking the
run. Yeah.
You're going to get it in the butt. Hey, why did you let Catherine? What's wrong with you? Why did you screw up this project? So, as an empath, you need to understand, hey, I get it, team leader. You're afraid. I can feel your fear. However, if I allow you to go forward with the way you have it now, you're going to screw us up. And I'm going to take it on the nose, because that's just the way it happens.
The way it is. Yeah.
That's the way it's going to roll. So we're not going to pretend that team leader has the right idea, but we are going to allow her to feel supported, loved, and acknowledged so that she can agree without losing face to these really smart suggestions that you're making. Now, when I look to bring on a teammate, I do not look for someone that does the same thing that I do. I know I've got a lot of weaknesses. The last thing I need is somebody who does the same thing I do. I need somebody that can do everything I can't do.
Right.
So brilliant to bring in the more pragmatic person who loves details to support you in your vision of what you know is possible. But you've got to present it in a way that team leader feels honored instead of, oh gosh, I don't know if I should have given this to Catherine because she's really smart and she's really on her way up in this company. And if she does a really good job, am I going to be out the door? No. So understand, and you're an empath, so you can understand it. You can feel it. You can feel her fear. Use the information you have, not to belittle her, but to build her so that everybody wins. Then it's for the highest good of all concerned. When an empath gets the information, I'm so scared. I don't know if I made the right decision. The ethical thing to do is to allow the person who's sent you that information to feel good. They are allowing you access to their energetic field, not so you will hurt them, but so you can help them. It's a cry for help. So we answer, we answer with tools that will uplift everyone. You don't need to push her out of the way. You don't have the skills that she has. You have your own set of skills. You have your own trajectory within that company. You're brilliant at what you do, but it's not the same as what team leader does.
Right.
And it's not the same as Jake. So brilliant for bringing in a detail-oriented person to make sure. I was just before the show, I was like, something made me look at my email that goes out, and none of my links were linking to anything. Now, this is this is not brilliance on my part. Now, happily, I have guys said, "Hey, you know what? You really need to take a look over here. This is not my area of strength." It gets screwed up a lot. All of my internet things get screwed up a lot. It is not my area of strength. So if I were to hire a teammate, do I want another person that is weak in internet? No. I want a computer-savvy person who thinks that's fun. We don't need another person who gets really confused by things of a computer nature. There's room for all of us at the top.
I love that.
You can be your most brilliant, beautiful self, Catherine, and I can be mine. Team leader can be hers. Jake can be his, and there will be a seat for all of us at the table. You came with everything you need to succeed, and so did they, for the life journey that is meant for them. Maybe I didn't come with the ability to be an Olympic athlete. That's okay. That's not my journey this time.
Right.
And so it is perfectly okay to look at other people that do things well and to offer them encouragement and support and uplift them, knowing that which you do well will still allow you to shine at the appropriate time. Even if you all do the same thing, you will not be able to do it the same way. And there will be a time when Catherine is needed because you see it a way and can explain it in a way that no one else can. And there will be a time when team leader is needed. If you were to do all the same thing, which you don't, actually you're beautifully balanced, and that's incredibly wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
But in that, the three of you working together, if you can just release the fear of the team leader by giving her assurance that you're not interested in taking over her job, but you want to make sure that everyone shines, she'll be able to give you credit, which is only fair, and allow you to have another person who can make her look even better and give you that time so that you can roll out a product that is really incredible instead of one you just kind of slap together.
Right.
So when you approach anything, if somebody is giving you a lot of resistance or you're feeling resistance, immediately say to yourself, why am I resisting? What is it about this that's causing me to feel this way? And then use those questions. Is it filled with unconditional love? Am I feeling a lot of contradiction? And do I feel empowered? If not, you really may be looking at something that is just wishful thinking, an outright lie, or not right for you. And it's okay to let it go. The thing that I have learned more than anything is if I'm holding on tight to the thing that isn't working, I don't have a hand free to grab on to the thing that will work. So, do your best to alleviate the fear from anybody who may be coming at you with resistance or from yourself. Because fear is the biggest liar on the planet. Every lie has a fear behind it. And people, without meaning to, will offer situations or statements that are going to hurt you or them because they're afraid. So if you can be the one that eliminates the fear, you are the most valuable person in the room.
Aww.
So,
thank you so much.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. It's so wonderful when we have real life examples and we can help people, and you now see, wow, I, Catherine, as an empath, have an incredible role in this life. I am going to look at every situation and see how I can alleviate the fear. I had a conversation with someone yesterday. They were talking about someone that they are trying to befriend, and they mentioned that this person had been subjected to some terrible circumstances that all were not true. And I said, I really would like to talk with that person because they need to understand they don't need to be a victim. They need to understand how they can be empowered and rise above this instead of hiding in the corner hoping no one will notice. That's what you can be doing by alleviating the fear. It is an incredible gift to offer people, and I'm so glad you shared that with us today. But now we are out of time, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. And now, everyone, I am so grateful for all of you. I am so grateful for the divine that lead us into these incredible interactions and conversations. But remember how valuable and worthy each one of you are. No one came without the ability to be successful in the area of life that they've chosen. If you need help because this doesn't feel true for you, reach out. Please, I offer a complimentary consultation. To the first 3 listeners who respond, go to my website, MarciaMartinTheHeartHealer.com. Under coaching, you will find my calendar. Love yourself enough to schedule that free consultation. Do not live in fear. It doesn't serve you. So, until next Sunday. Oh, major announcement, forgot, guys. Next Sunday, I am actually going to be doing something at 12 Pacific in addition to 4 Pacific. At 12 Pacific, I will be with Claudia Ibarra on her show, International Angels Network Radio. So get on my mailing list. I will send you an invitation to that. Get on my mailing list also for the weekly inspiration, for the blog, for reminders about this show, to be inspired and uplifted. Again, it's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. And until next Sunday, I'm sending you all my love.
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. You can check out who's on, when we're on, and who our guests are at angelheartradio.com. Everything is there. It's all just one click away. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools to help you in your life and your life experience. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views expressed by hosts, co-hosts, callers, guests and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.